Hey everybody, Matthew here again with another episode of MEB Pod. Today it will be a nice little short and sweet episode. I've somewhat kind of planned it out, so I've got a little bit of a format, I guess. Of course, we'll do the birdie and double bogey. We'll talk a little all things Ryder Cup, a little NFL, MLB playoffs started yesterday. Just what's exciting for the weeks coming. So looking forward to kind of getting this started. Like I said, nice, short, and sweet. Of course, no guests today, like as per usual. Still kind of figuring things out on how I kind of want this to look like. I really need to kind of dig, do my research and what I really want to do with this and for the future. But at the end of the day, do need to get something out there and enjoy doing this. It's kind of my journal as opposed to writing everything down. I kind of just talk about what happened throughout the week and, happy to move forward with it. So with that being said, of course, we'll dive into the birdie and the double bogey. The double bogey, I guess, I'll kind of get in more to it later, but, the U.S. lost the Ryder Cup. I do, like I said, probably going to dive more into it here in a few minutes, but it was a close one. Not so close on the early, Friday and Saturday, but U.S. kind of came back and made it interesting, which was really neat. Long story short, happy, I was pleased to see the fire in them, but I'll kind of go into my birdie, though, of course, with that birdie would probably be I kind of tiptoed into my next golf trip destination planning. I've kind of chosen, I was debating on whether I wanted to do flying to New York or New Jersey and do the whole Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, do a whole trip around that area of the, New York, of course, too. I've been to New York, but I would like to play golf in New York. After seeing the Ryder Cup, it kind of inspired me to go up there and play some golf. I've seen, all these Barstool guys have been, like Frankie Borelli are from that area. And I've only heard great things about the golf up there in the Northeast, the New York area, which it all looks really nice, but a lot of them are private. So, it'd be kind of hard to get onto some of those. So, but I could probably get on the Bethpage. I could do, a couple courses in the Philly area, maybe drive over to Jersey and try to get on something over there and then play over in Connecticut and do that kind of stuff. But I did decide on Pinehurst. I'll probably stay in Pinehurst for just like 4 days up in North Carolina. But you can't really go wrong with Pinehurst, I guess. The still plans are in the works, so we're still working on figuring that out. I do want to at least play number 2. That is kind of the bucket list Pinehurst course for, I'm sure, a lot of you out there. It is where they played the 2024 U.S. Open, where Bryson DeChambeau had that amazing bunker save on, I guess that was 18 to secure his victory in the U.S. Open. That would be a really neat thing to kind of do or play or see. I'd like to see the Payne Stewart statue outside the resort. They've got so much history around there. So looking forward to kind of moving forward with the Pinehurst planning. It is going to be a little expensive, but I guess that if I want to try to play all the U.S. Open venues, that's definitely, you're going to be spending a few dollars to play around the golf, but looking forward to it. But anyways, we'll kind of dive into, like I said, we'll dive into the Ryder Cup. So this year's Ryder Cup was at Bethpage Black up in Farmingdale, New York. The Europeans did end up taking the victory 15-13. Overall showing from the Americans was, Friday and Saturday it might have looked a little rough. They were down. I don't even remember what the score was, but the United States didn't look as good as the Europeans. But it is match play. So I mean, if you look at the overall scores on what they played very similar. Now, Scotty Scheffler went 0 for, except for the last day in the singles against Rory. He did win that, but their team events like the alternate shot and the foursomes and the four ball, I mean, he just couldn't win. He couldn't pull anything off. But again, like I said, the United States played great. The Europeans just played unbelievable. If you look at the overall statistics, I believe I saw something saying like the Europeans made 240 feet more worth of putts on Friday and Saturday, which is an incredible amount. I mean, it didn't matter. The United States were sticking their approach shots way closer, and they weren't hitting their putts either. But they were birdieing holes. They were shooting under par. They couldn't have done much more. I think when you just put that team aspect, I think the Europeans got a much closer relationship, and they're more prideful on their team, things. You've got Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy, the Fleetwood-Mac duo. It was just unbelievable how well they play together. The Tyrrell Hatton and Jon Rahm, two live guys that have played together, for so long. They've got more live guys on their team than the Americans, and the live guys are always playing team events. Granted, live over there is playing like individual scores, but they have like teams to accumulate their final scores. So I just think the Europeans are more tight knit and close, and it was the same team more or less than it was 2 years prior over there in Italy. We are getting some hate here, us Americans, as Rory McIlroy was harassed, and a lot of the Europeans were harassed. My thoughts on that, I don't think it was any worse than any other football, baseball, hockey, any other kind of sport. I don't think it's right when people include their families or whatever. Now, I don't know exactly what was said, but, I heard there was a drink thrown at Rory McIlroy's wife. Now, that is not 100%, accurate, I don't think. I'm not like a credible source here for sure, but I think that apparently one camera angle has just the drink going at Rory McIlroy's wife. The other camera has a lady actually just dropping it next to Rory McIlroy's wife, not meaning to aim it towards his wife. But long story short, the internet can do a lot of amazing, weird, crazy things, and a lot of things can be made up, and it's really tough to judge who did what and when, where, why. But I know Rory McIlroy came out and said that it's absolutely, I'm paraphrasing here, but ridiculous that golf should be this, a little more professional and, this, that, and the other. But then I've come to find out that I forget who won the British Open, a couple of years ago, but they came out and said that when they were winning, the disgusting things that the European fans were saying towards him, I think it's in every country or in every sport. I know America and New York can be a little rough and around the edges, but it is, if you are losing, you're going to hear it from if someone that you're not rooting for. It's just like if you go to a Yankees-Red Sox game, and the Yankees are blowing it. The Red Sox fans are going to give the Yankees a hard time, and the Yankees fans are going to give the Yankees a hard time. It's with any sport. I don't care if it's golf. That's supposed to be, this is 2025. It's a new time. It's not, 1930s when, all these other, when golf, I don't want to say it. It's not more or less, it's not when golf started, when the way it was, made to be. It is a new year. There's social media. There's scrutiny. There's some of these guys got. I don't mind. I like Rory McIlroy, but at the end of the day, he stepped down to the fans' level too and cursed out the fans. So I mean, you really can't be. He's kind of being a hypocrite when he's saying that golf should be this soft-spoken, well-maintained golf etiquette, blah blah blah. When he's out there cursing out the fans too, when he knows there's children out there watching, he knows da 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 da. So I think Rory McIlroy was being very, very hypocritical. That's just my thoughts on it. So I mean, let me hear your thoughts in the comments, of course. I think now I don't think it's good to promote that kind of stuff. Like in my recent reel, I had what's her name had the MC of the whole Ryder Cup was chanting F Europe, F Europe, and I don't think that's appropriate, but. Things happen, and she did resign from the position, which is good. The Americans definitely took it the right way. Overall, though, Ryder Cup, I think Keegan Bradley performed as much as the best at his ability. I think the Americans played great on that Sunday. It was made it really interesting. I think at the end of the day, though, I don't know how much. I mean, I believe obviously Luke Donald, an amazing captain, won 2 Ryder Cups in a row. Over there in Italy, here at Bethpage. I still don't know how much a captain can really affect the outcome of a Ryder Cup. I know I've read things about how they are able to, build the locker room and team camaraderie or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, at the end of the day, these are 12 of the best American golfers and 12 of the best Europeans. If they just go out there and play their game, I mean, I don't know how you can really change that. I mean, obviously, there's the alternate shot and the team play on Friday and Saturday. That's a little tough because, I mean, you look at Scotty Scheffler, who's the best player in the world. He went 0 4, and then you get him out there in singles against Rory McIlroy, who's the number 2 golfer in the world, and he takes him down. So he's playing his own ball. So, I mean, there's a lot of I just don't know how much of an effect a captain can do, but at the end of the day, I was still rooting for Keegan Bradley. I will still enjoy seeing him over there in Ireland in 2027's Ryder Cup. That would be really neat to have him over there, especially because I'm sure he's got some Irish roots. Put the Captain America in Ireland. I think that would be really neat to see. Also, there is one thing that I think needs to change about the Ryder Cup. I know the Americans, you need 14.5 points to secure, or 14 points to, or 14.5 points to secure the win in the Ryder Cup, 14 points to keep the trophy, and the Americans lost 15-13 to the Europeans. But Victor Hovland went out there Sunday saying his neck hurt and that he's not able to play against Harris English in the singles matches of the Ryder Cup. And so they ended up doing what's called the envelope rule, where he puts his name in the envelope, that each team gets a half a point. So that automatically secures half of a point for the Europeans. Yes, it doesn't give the Americans half a point too, sure, but they're so far behind that if all 12 guys put in the envelope rule, it would have been a clean wash, and the Americans would have won. Or, I mean, the Europeans would have won easily without even playing a match. I think that if your player cannot play or is injured, I think the Americans should take the win. You should be rewarded to be healthy. I think, like, if you more or less you look at any other sport in the world, tennis, if you can't play in your match, the player that you're going against gets to advance to the next round. If you're if you're in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL or whatever in the first game of the season a couple of years ago with the Jets. He did not get to play for the rest of the year. The Jets failed miserably. I mean, I don't think they would have failed miserably with him, but that's not nor here the point. But if so and so, I'm just thinking of any sport more or less. Tyreek Hill last night got hurt in the game. They will not have Tyreek Hill for the rest of the season. they will have to find someone to either replace him or play without him for whatever reason. There's no other sport in the world where you get rewarded for being injured. I think you should be rewarded to be healthy. Now, I think what Viktor Hovland should have done was go out there, play a hole or two, and withdraw from the event, and give a point to Harris English. Because now poor Harris English is one of the top 6 American golfers this year, was an automatic qualifier, struggled in the first couple of days, Friday and Saturday, never got to really play his own ball in a Ryder Cup. So this guy's worked his whole career almost up to play in a Ryder Cup, and then Viktor Hovland comes out, and I know, no offense to Viktor Hovland, I like the guy, I think he's a great golfer, but kind of, clowns out and doesn't even play the final round. I think at the end of the year, I mean, if you watch, I'm not saying his neck does not hurt, but if you watch the end of the European after they win, he's out there celebrating with all his guys, Tyrrell Hatton, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, all the Europeans, Luke Donald, all these guys celebrating, taking his pictures and having fun. He's the only single on the European team, only one not like married or whatever. And then he's out there taking pictures with all the wives and all this, making jokes and having fun. The neck doesn't look like it's any problem. If it was so bad, I mean, I get it. And he's one of the younger guys on the team, so I don't know how the guy can sit here and take this. I don't know. I just think, long story short, I think this envelope rule needs to be changed. I think it will be changed by the end of the, or by the start of next Ryder Cup. I think this rule was made in, the 1800s or something, because, but I do think it will be changed after that. I know after looking at the score, it was 15-13. It really would not have had too big of an effect. The Europeans would have still won, but down the road, the scores were changing. If Shane Lowry didn't hit that putt on 18 or whatever, I think that rule could have really come into effect, and it could have changed the outcome of things. And but long story short, congrats to the Europeans. Very happy to see that the U.S. had some fire in them at the end. Really looking forward to next year, to 2027 Ryder Cup. Obviously, we got a couple more years for that. But it was overall a great golf season. Really looking forward to golf in the next upcoming months. I know we have the TGL coming up. And then I know the whole Century in Hawaii got canceled because of drought of water in January. Long story short, I'm still going to be talking some golf here. Hopefully, we've got some stories in the near future. So we'll see. I'm going to still be posting all my shorts and stuff on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, of course. But we are going to dive into a little MLB baseball. We've got playoffs have started yesterday. The Cubbies took down, or also start with the beginning. We had the Tigers took down the Guardians in Game 1, 2-1. Cubbies took down the Padres, 3-1. Red Sox took down the Yankees 3-1, and the Dodgers took down the Reds like 10-5 or something. Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez had 2 home runs each. Tommy Edman hit a home run. Garrett Crochet just looked unstoppable. Max Fried looked unreal. Some of this pitching in the early going, it's been unbelievable. Tigers and Guardians are so similar in teams. I think that's going to be one heck of a game. That's getting ready to start here in a few minutes. It started 10 minutes ago, so I'm going to probably turn that on after I get done with this episode. We do have, of course, and then we got the Brewers and the Mariners and a couple, I don't even know who else. I haven't been paying attention, but they're all kind of waiting to see who wins these matchups. And the Brewers, Phillies, Mariners, and Blue Jays are all waiting to see who wins these wild card rounds. So really looking forward to the playoffs. I think it's been great so far. I know it's only one game in each series so far, but looking forward to seeing what the outcome. Unfortunately, my Cardinals were not able to make it happen. Got a new year coming up, so under new management. John Mozeliak is gone. Hopefully we can turn something around, get some power, we definitely need some muscle out there. But looking forward to the rest of the postseason. You've got the NHL getting ready to start up. I know the Blues are in their preseason, post whatever their beginning of the year practices and matchups. Which brings me kind of into college football. We had an amazing week of college football this week. You had Penn State and Oregon. Penn State cannot win the big one. You had Missouri just dominate Boston College or whatever UMass. They've got a bye week. The Missouri Tigers have a bye week this week, going against Alabama next week. That'll be a good one. Alabama took down Georgia, so roll tide. We've got, of course, you've got your Hurricanes ended up having a bye. They've got a big one this week against Florida State. So we've got some big matchups coming up this weekend in college football, of course, too. Really looking forward to seeing the outcome. If University of Missouri can pull off a win against Alabama, I don't know where that would put them in the rankings. I mean, they've played some. I mean, they've got some good football players. I mean, that running back is an absolute stud. He leads the SEC in rushing yards by like 400 yards or something. So, looking forward to seeing what he's going to do against at least a Power 4 conference defense like Alabama. Which kind of brings me into some NFL, more or less. We had the Dolphins. Congrats to them. They finally got a win. I know it was against the Jets, who are also now 0-4. So I'm sorry to all the Jets fans out there. It has been a rough going for them over the past, I don't know how many years now. I know I really give credit or props to people who root for teams like the Jets, and the Giants. Up there in New York, or any struggling team for so many years, because it really shows that true faithfulness. And I love when people are fans of teams, even through the good, the bad, and the ugly. But speaking of the Giants, congrats to the Giants on their first win, and Jackson Dart finally getting a win there for the G-Men. I'm excited to see what he does in the future. I know he's got a little spark up there in East Rutherford for the Giants. I just think that's what they needed. I don't know if Russell Wilson was definitely the answer, not the answer, definitely. But who else we got? I mean, you've got the Bucs and the Eagles. The Eagles are still undefeated. Chiefs, Kansas City, absolutely looked like the old Chiefs that we all know. Patrick Mahomes, I think, threw 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson just are at a very surprising 1-3 right now. I still think that they've got a really good shot of making a playoffs, even though they're 1-3, with the Brownies and Bengals struggling, and the Steelers are like 3-1 or whatever. But I don't think they're as good as their record might say. But yeah, I mean, the NFL's been, a lot of hit and miss. I think the most dominant team so far has been the Eagles. I just think they're consistently the best team in the league. But like I said, I do want to kind of make this like a short episode. I'd love to have the help of guests or whatever. But I do, of course, can't forget about my parlay of the week. Last week I was not able to hit on my parlay, so for the people out there, the few that are listening, I do apologize for my parlay of the week. I wanted to say I put the over-under in the Dolphins game at like 41.5. I want to say and they definitely went over. They had like 48 points. So something missed on my parlay, but I think I've got a pretty solid one here. The Raiders are are in Indianapolis against the Colts. I got the Raiders at plus 6.5 points. I think Ashton Genty, I just think he's a dominant running back, and I think he'll tear up that Colts defensive line. I've got the Arizona-Tennessee game, 41.5 points. I got the under. And then I believe Justin Herbert's going to be throwing over 1.5 touchdowns this week against the Commanders. So, I mean, more or less, like I said, you don't have to listen to what I have to say. I don't really do too much research. I like to throw one out there, try to get some people involved in the podcast. It's just another little way. I'm interested in doing this kind of stuff too. I don't really. I make one a week and then see how it goes. If it hits, great. If it doesn't, whatever. But it is a way to kind of get people involved. I'm going to do it at the end of every episode. So probably a 3-game parlay. I might do like a 4 or 5, sometimes 2, depending on how I'm feeling. So unfortunately last week I didn't hit, but this week I've got pretty good. I got Raiders 6.5 plus 6.5 over the Colts, 41.5 points in the under on the Tennessee-Arizona game, and I got Justin Herbert throwing over 1.5 touchdowns against Washington Commanders this week. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate all the love. MEB Golf and MEB Pod, this whole podcast thing is really, it's moving. I mean, I've got 21, this will be episode 21. I know my reels are getting a lot of love. I really want this longer form to take off. I want to get guests involved. I want to get people out there. I want to golf with my supporters, my fans, whatever you want to call them. I guess supporters would be the best way to describe them. I know people, it's a little intimidating to get in front of a camera, but, if anyone wants to be in front of it with me, I don't know what I'm doing, so, you'll probably look a lot better than I do, so. But anyways, thank you very much for listening. MEB Golf and MEB Pod, we're going to be here at Pinehurst in like 6 months, so get the cameras ready, so thank you, bye-bye.